Baba Askofu, and all of you, the clergy who participated, plus the rest. Let me say protocol observed. And to you, the Christians, I would like to start the brief I have with assignments. My parents and on behalf of the church, bishop and the clergy, and all the religious here, I am handing over these 4 brothers in the hands of Brother Godfrey Musota, who is the local minister of Adra community in Uganda. I am handing these guys in presence of all of you as eyewitnesses, and my brother, plus the resident brothers there. You are to continue the formation programs of these 4 young men who made commitment today. Never be that judgmental, but mentor. Live exemplary life. We are made from crooked way lives. So make that straight in the best way you can. I wouldn't like to get a case of accusation that brother so-and-so is stubborn. Prove your leadership to make sure you make that stubbornness to become beautiful. Right? Thank you very much. So those 4 brothers, the prayers you have letters here. Brother Kevin, take your appointment. Brother Anthony, take your appointment. Lawrence, take your appointment. Brother to here, take your appointment. Right. You will be given assignments when you reach Adra. In the ministries that you will be assigned to, please live the gospel way of life. Let your actions speak. Never be bully. Never manifest your brotherhood only by the garments you have, and let it come from the depth of your hearts. With all that, I wish you happiness where you will go. Get out. I would like to ask Brother Felix Waswa, come forward. Brother Felix Waswa, he is the local minister of Lare community. On behalf of the General Council and all of us here, the Christians gathered in the full witness of his Lordship, Bishop John. I'm handing over Brother Edwin Emboy. Brother Edwin, from now onwards, Brother Felix is your reference point. Brother Felix, to be a reference point, what it means, I leave the assignment to you. If you want to be a reference point for bad examples, let the Holy Spirit help. If the best one is out. So I don't want to speak much. I wish all of you God's blessing. As I said, your assignments will be following you when you reach your respective communities. So, my brief or long story will start with a brief history. Not history, but story. Last year I had a story. Those who were here, if you can remember the theme of that story, I will give you present, but also I will be able to commit my lifetime prayer for you. Those who were there. Those who were there. If you can't remember, last year, this time, I spoke something about a story related to a doe giving birth to a kid. A doe is a female goat, and a kid is a young one of the goat. And today, I will turn a little bit this story by giving you another version which will lead us to summary part of my speech today. My dear brothers, the theme of the story today is about the three stones. I know the three stones in our African histories has so many connotations, but the connotation that I am going to depict to reflect the occurrence of this day of today goes as follows. You listen. Dear brothers and sisters in Christ, let me begin with the story. In a quiet village, an old mansion was known for building strong homes. Strong homes. I repeat. One day, 3 young men came to learn from him. In the context of today, we have 5 young men. He gave each of them a stone and said, "Carry this for a week. Carry it for a week. Only the one who understands its weight will be ready to build." The first returned after 2 days, saying, "It's too heavy. The stone you've given me is too heavy." The second came back after 5 days, saying, "I kept it clean and polished. I kept the stone you gave me clean and polished." But the third returned after 7 days, dusty and tired. He said, "I carried it through rain and sun. I didn't just hold it, I walked with it. I didn't just hold it, and I walked with it." Then the manson smiled and said, "You are ready." He did that to the third young man, who said he had carried it through rain and sun. And he not only carried it, but he walked with it. The manson said, "You are ready. You didn't just carry the stone. You let it shape you. You let the stone shape you." This story reminds us again in the scriptural references where Jesus says in Luke chapter 9, verse 23, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross daily and follow me." Today, our brothers, the 5, are not just holding their vows, they are choosing to walk with them. The 3 evangelical vows they have pronounced. They are choosing to walk with them, letting them shape their lives. Like the young man, the third young man, who did carry the stone and walked with it. This story, though simple, carries profound lessons to us as religious, but also to the laity who we are here all. especially for today, as our brothers make their solemn, profound profession of vows. The lessons that could be derived from this story, one, is about commitment over conveniences. The first young man gave up because the stone was very heavy. This reminds us that religious life is not about comfort. You will get challenges as we begin it. It's about commitment. The vows we profess today are not light. They carry weight of love, sacrifice, and service. While doing that, you will get challenges. You will get harsh words. We do not drop them when they feel heavy because of those perceptions, negative perceptions, as reflected in the homily of Father Simon. We carry them with faith, even if we face those challenges. The second lesson we could derive from that story of the three stones is appearance is not enough. I have made it here as I started. Dressing to appear religious is not enough in this garment, unless the religiousness is emanating from our hearts. As leaders in the houses and how we live with our brothers as well, and the brothers who live with us, how religiousness we have is not only reflected by remaining in the sacred chapel with the Lord. If we cannot transfer that, what we experience and receive from Him through our reflections, into action, then we better don't take the vows. This second bullet point is about a second young man who polished the stone but didn't engage with its purpose. The stone was given for a purpose. The vow you are taking is to drive you for service. To drive us for service, to allow us to sacrifice and go out of our egocentrism. In the same way, our vocation is not about looking holy. It is about being holy with our brokenness. The vows are not decorations. They are daily discipline that we have to live. We are called to live them, not just display them for public show. The third lesson we derive from those three stones is transformation through our religious journey. If we start today, 1 year, you don't feel difference, don't renew it next year. If we move to the second year, you don't feel any difference of transformation. Personal transformation before we become transformation agents to others. Then we don't need to. The third young man allowed the stone to shape him. This is the heart of our calling. Don't shape the vows, let the vows shape us. The vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience are not just rules. They are tools that shape us into brotherhood. Brothers who reflect Christ. We walk with them through sun and rain. We walk within our own selves, within our ministries as we work with, and through joy and trials, allowing them to transform us, then we become very good transformers. The fourth bullet point derived from that three stones is about faithfulness in the ordinary times in our lives. Carrying the stone through daily life, dust, you sweat, and you come at times silence. You experience moments of silence, which must teach us the holiness in silence, that's where we also holiness is found. In our ordinary life experiences, we don't need to expect an extraordinary in order to say we encounter God. We encounter God when we are eating together and the meals we share, the chats we make, when we are serving, when we are teaching, how we interact with our fellow staff, be it religious, non-religious. How do we experience our moments with our spiritual leaders, religious leaders? How do we experience life when we interact amongst ourselves? That's what I mean by talking about faithfulness in our ordinary times. When we are alone, how do I behave? Would I behave in the same way when I am in a crowd like this? Or I become somebody else? The religious life is not built in grand gestures, but in small, faithful acts. Acts of listening, active listening. Acts of serving with love. Acts of forgiving, knowing that is the source of energy, is the source of healing, and acts of our daily prayers. The fifth bullet point, as a lesson derived from that 3 stones, is about vocation is a journey. And many of us have mentioned that, not a moment. It's not a moment that will pass now and then we forget about. Just as the stone had to be carried over time, our vows are not a one-day event. Today is a beginning, not a conclusion, as made here by the previous speakers. The solemn profession is the start of a lifelong journey of growth, learning, and renewal of our faith. The last bullet point as a lesson drawn from that story is letting the vows shape us. The Manson's final word to the young man who carried the stone up to the very end and walked with and allowed the stone to shape his life, said, "You let it shape you. Let our vows shape us." We are called to surrender ourselves to God's work, to God's will. We do not shape the vows to fit our lives. We allow the vows to shape our lives to fit the gospel we preach by our very examples. This is the path of display, the true discipleship. In this story, we see ourselves as Franciscan brothers and all people of goodwill and people of God. We are the ones given the stones, the sacred weight of our vocation, be it religious, Franciscan brother, be it clergy, called to priestly order, be it called to our married life, even if a single but living godly life. And today we say, not just to holding that stone, but to walking with it, letting it shape us into the true spirit of Franciscan brothers, if we are the brothers to one another. And for the others, let it shape you as per the congregation spirituality you are living. For our parents, brothers and sisters who are in a marriage life, similar information goes to you. Part B, how do we live our Franciscan calling in this 21st century? That's what. Again, once more, my brothers and sisters, my Lord Bishop, here we stand today on a sacred ground, as remarked by the previous speakers, not just the soil beneath our feet, but a spiritual legacy of over 200 years of our Franciscan witness. We celebrated 200 years about 2 years ago. So we are standing here on such a kind of ground, and we have got our streets written up to the time 1930. But still more work is being done. So here we are standing on such a legacy carried down the line by our predecessor brothers, both living and those who have gone ahead of us. From Montpellier in Ireland to the vibrant communities in East Africa, our way of life as Franciscan brothers has always been marked by simplicity, fraternity, and mission focused. In the 21st century, our vocation as Franciscan brothers is more urgent than ever, maybe evident by many stories, bullet points remarked by Father in his homily, and also evident by perhaps the presence of His Lordship Bishop John Chrysostom here. Wherever they are coming from, he is coming from, that's where the mission still is required. We live in a world fractured by inequality, ecological crisis, and spiritual hunger. And we are called to respond not with fear, but with faith whenever we are going. As I made it yesterday, in our last evening celebration, Your Lordship, the people whose certificates you witnessed and put your signature on, it's our prayer. One day they will be in your diocese, starting a new foundation of Franciscan brothers in your diocese. In East Africa, where many of us live and serve, these challenges are not distant. They are daily realities that we live. Inequality, in a context of inequality, it is seen as in the child in rural Nakuru, or rural Uganda, or rural Tanzania, who walks 5 kilometers, who have no lights for studies to access, who has no access to school, or to access school, they have to cover not less than 5 kilometers. With no textbooks, while others in the cities learn with digital tools. It's felt by the young graduates in areas we work. In Adra, northwestern Uganda, in Soroti Diocese, Mid-East, Eastern Uganda, here now in Nakuru, Diocese in Baraka Molo, St. Francis, Father made it clear with practical examples of himself. And where else we are in South Sudan, where we are trying to make advancement. And in Kericho Diocese, where we are found to start a foundation with time. So, those are areas where we are found to be working, and by the girls in perhaps those respective areas where young girls are trafficked from rural Karamoja region, northeastern Uganda, and even here in Kenya. In East Africa, human trafficking is the reality, where you find in rural markets which animals are being sold. You will find in some parts of these regions we serve in real children of age 5 to 15 are being assembled like the earlier slave trade business occurred. And the perpetrators come to select. You choose the kids who have potential to meet your objective for coming to buy them. That's happening in northeastern Uganda. So I presume the same happens in our rural Kenya. Why do we have street kids in Nairobi, in Kampala, in Nakuru, in Dar es Salaam, and even in Mpinga? So, as brothers, we are called to bridge to be a bridge of opportunities, if possible, to minimize or eradicate such like vices that invade our society where we serve today. The second point there is the ecological crisis. This is visible in the drying rivers in areas we serve in northern Uganda. In here, at times the volume of river Molo goes dry in a year. When we are driving all the way from Dar es Salaam through Morogoro, Iringa, Mbeya, up to the south, than extreme southern Tanzania, where His Lordship Bishop John came from. A lot of dry beds of rivers, seasonal rivers, which should have not been if we employ appropriate practices of our farming. So as Franciscan brothers, we must be guardians of creation, promoting farming that heals the land and sustains life. The spiritual hunger, which I mentioned earlier, is felt in the hearts of youth searching for meanings in life. That's the reason why you find mushrooming churches that preaches fallacy, heresy, devil worshipping is happening in our societies because the youth fail to find meaning in life. In families broken by conflicts and in communities where faith is overshadowed by fear or materialism. In Nairobi's informal sector or settlements, Chibra, Kampala, wherever we are found in East Africa, the rural parishes, people long not just for bread, but for hope. So wherever we are called to be beacon of hope for people. We are called to be servants of reconciliation, offering presence, prayer, and peace. Let us remember our charism is not a relic. It's not a relic of the past, but it is a living fire which must drive us for action. We are not museums or museum keepers of tradition. Franciscan brothers lived over 200 years. We have rich history, but we have to edit the history that must be relevant in this 21st century. Soon we might enter into 22nd century. We might not reach there ourselves, but our generations to come will reach. So that's it. We are torchbearers of transformation, and let us have it real. Every vow we profess today is in a light in the darkness. It must be enlightening the darknesses that surround us. And the darkness, I mean, there are all those factors, situations I've mentioned. Let our communities be places of healing. We might receive a brother today. That brother has a broken history. And as our brothers' communities, we should be healing communities. We must make that brother preacher, that brokenness, should feel home. I feel bad if every time a brother is running home where he was born, if he can't find a home here today and you are a leadership member in that community, please, I ask you to assess yourself. Make a brother feel home. A home, you know what it means. So the last is about the evangelical vows, which I won't repeat. I think Father has given a good information about that. Summarily on that point is just as brothers, let us remember, no brother is above another. We are all equals. Let us never allow our title to make us gods in the communities that we live. Let us be simple. Let's receive the brothers who professed today and those who received vows professed yesterday and others as equals. The functionalities of each of us in our communities will define who is ahead of the other, but not mentioning to a fellow brother, you know, I am the local person, you know, I am the minister of the house, or I am the general councillor or minister general. That is not brotherhood. So we should all look at one another as equals, irrespective of the positions we hold in our ministries or in our communities. We call to live a shared life. We call to live with shared values and shared cultures and a shared vision and mission. Our diversity in terms of our tribal, ethnic, social, linguistic differences is not a threat. It should not be a limit to embrace unity of diversities. It is a gift. It is what makes the beauty. And the same, I want to say, whoever is involved in vocational promotion, I would like a diversity of cultures. I think it will be the best. You must use your time well to reach where we have never been reached. We have never reached. Next year, this time, I would love to see different people from different dioceses, if possible. We are many grains. We are many grains, but one love. The love is made from the wheat. One single seed of a wheat cannot make a love. Is that true? It's true. So therefore, there we are. We have to be the many grains that makes a love. Therefore, we come from different places, but we share one mission. We share one spirit. That's the spirit of St. Francis. And we carry the image of God in us. We need to see one another with that eye. And we have one heart. That is the heart of St. Francis that was inspired to serve Christ in the way we are emulating. We live together, we pray together, we serve together. We profess to live a shared life. So let us keep on that. Last but not least, I want to take this opportunity to give my words of gratitude and recognition to all those who are here. Whether named or not named, you are all recognized. First, I wish to express my heartfelt gratitude to the entire organization team of today's function, the solemn celebration. Your tireless efforts, quiet sacrifices you made, and unwavering commitment have made this day not only possible but profoundly meaningful to every one of us as Franciscan brothers. To the formation team, which comprises all the religious who pulled together their resources to shape these 5 young men, and still you continue doing so. The spiritual directors, the mentors, the community leaders who journeyed with these young men. Thank you for nurturing their vocation with patience, wisdom, and love. You have helped shape hearts that are ready to serve and lives that are prepared to walk the path of the gospel we profess to follow. May your dedication continue to prayer to bear fruit in the lives of these brothers, including me, and in the communities they will now go to live in and serve. In a special way, I turn with again deep gratitude to the families gathered here. In a special way, the families of the 5 brothers who professed today, and all those who come to join this function as family, relatives, and friends. Our brothers and sisters from neighboring communities across Kenya and beyond, the clergy, religious, and laity of St. Timothy Parish, our sisters and brothers who are Franciscan lay missionaries who are here amongst us. Your presence sanctifies today's moment. So thank you very much for that. To our friends, colleagues, and co-workers, starting with our cooks, the farm attendants in our brothers' communities, and in our ministries, Baraka College, St. Francis, Agriculture College, and in Soroti, where we are still desiring to do what the Spirit wishes us to do there. And the local communities we live in, we thank you for working with us in our ministries and in our communities. To the parents of our newly professed brothers, your generosity is a seed that bears fruit in eternity. As I move to the next paragraphs of my gratitude and recognition, I would like to beg our attention as gathered here, people of faith, people of prayer, and as generous parents who donate to the congregation sons. We lost a parent yesterday, one of our brothers. We are yet preparing for that. I will ask you to just have a silent moment in tribute towards him. We lost a father. Eternal rest grant unto him, O Lord. May he rest in peace. Eternal rest grant unto him, O Lord. May he rest in peace. Eternal rest grant unto him, O Lord. May he rest in peace. Next is to our partners. First and foremost, the government of Kenya at all levels, from county, from sub-county level, village level, sub-county level, all across to the national, who are here or in their absences. The educational institutions, this particular moment, we collaborate with within Kenya and Uganda, hopefully with time in Tanzania. Our donor partners in their absences who support our missions, and the general local communities who are the primary stakeholders whom we serve through our ministries, and collaborators, the local people and international people. Your support sustains the mission of the Franciscan Brothers in East Africa, so thank you very much for all that. To the Diocese of Nakuru, Nairobi, Kericho, Soroti, and Nepi, where our presence are found at the moment, We are grateful for your unwavering cooperation, very immense support we receive. May this spirit endure beyond our time of leadership or our time of existence as Franciscan brothers of the current generation. And a special word of thanks to your Lordship, Right Reverend John Chrysostom Ibo, the Bishop of Mbinga Diocese in the extreme end of Tanzania. Your presence is blessing and sign of fraternity and the beginning of a long-term collaboration with the Franciscan brothers. Thank you very much. And in a special way, Bishop John came into my acquaintance cycle through our friends, sisters of St. Charles Borromeo. They are supposed to be a minister here. I don't know, one of them is here. Sister Lita, are you there? So, okay, Sister Lita is there. You wait for the Christians as well. Yeah. So, Sister Lita is a member of the congregation of St. Charles Borromeo, who have missions in Tanzania, 7 different dioceses. One of the dioceses is where diocese Right Reverend John is leading. And then they have mission in Uganda. And it's very interesting, as people of God, they are desiring also to be in Kenya. They are at the period of discernment. So we pray wherever the Spirit will lead them to start a foundation in Kenya, there will be. If they will be where you come from, that is a blessing. If it will not be where you come from, still is a blessing. So we appreciate that desire to be in Kenya. Finally, on behalf of the General Council, I also take this chance to thank, whether they are around or they have not arrived, Dr. Marcel and the team from Hekima University. In the absent, they are around, not yet? Not yet. They might be somewhere around the compound of the college. And our brothers, brother priests, the Jesuits, missionaries, they are here with us, and they have come with a big mission for human transformation. Your presence marks not only a strategic and spiritual partnership between Hekima University and Baraka Agriculture College, but also a shared commitment to advancing human capital development through the 2 institutions that we have as such entities. So, in their absence of the Dr. Marcel, who is supposed to be here with us this hour, I will ask the priest representing them to be able to stand up. Father John Makunda? Oh, he left. Okay, Father Kanyete is there. Tafadhali. Father Kanyete is one of the members here. He is an architect, engineer. Besides preaching the gospel, and they are the team who are sent to champion the beginning of Hekima University College, Baraka. So in this case, we as Franciscan brothers through Baraka Agriculture College are desiring to form that partnership in a way to help join hands together in contributing towards human capital development. Together, we express our joint desire to sign a memorandum of understanding that's the Jesuits and the Baraka Agriculture College. A formal beginning of our collaboration to improve capacities and capabilities and to build sustainable livelihoods in the face of changing social, economic, environmental, and political realities in the world of service to humanity. To end my long story, I apologize to all of you for taking you, for straining your backs, but allow me to say, let us go forth, brothers, rooted in our core values, faith, fraternity, service, simplicity, and justice. Let us embrace the spirit of collaboration and partnership, knowing that our mission is not ours alone. It is God's work, entrusted to our hands. Wherever we face challenges, let us never give up. Still, God is with us. May we always be brothers to one another and to the world we live in and serve. May our lives be a living gospel, and may the fire of Francis burn brightly in us today and always. Pax et Bonum. Thank you very much.